Good morning, students. Welcome back in your online computer studies. Okay, today we are going to learn about different data types from chapter 9, part 2. Okay, the database, Open Office database base. We will see the different features of this chapter in this session. Let's start. So, children, first of all, we will have the Open Office ORG. Okay, so I welcome you in openoffice.org children. You can see this image here. OpenOffice ORG is having its different features, text document similar to Word, presentation similar to PowerPoint, database similar to Access. Then we are having spreadsheets exactly like Excel. Then we are having drawing tools and formulas. Okay. So we are going to learn database. Creating a sample database for an application. During the entire journey of learning base, we will move towards creation of a small application for hypothetical modern electronics store. This store sells devices like mobiles, camera, handycams, laptops, notebooks, iPads, smartphones and accessories related to them. Products are procured from various suppliers. Stores has physical shop as well as the web shop. Thus, customers can either purchase items walking in the shop or place order online. Salespersons are paid special incentives for converting leads to customers. Let us name the application we are aiming for as store management system. Let us design a sample database for store management system. In later chapters, we will design form and report required for this system. Followed steps help us to design the required database. Step 1. Decide about whom data is to be stored. In our example, we will store data pertaining to products, suppliers, employees, and customers. All of these are known as entities. As discussed earlier, entities can be defined as any person, thing, place, or an object about which we store the data in the database. For each entity, a separate table should be designed. Thus, we will design 4 tables named product, supplier, employee, and customer. Step 2. Decide what attributes of each entity is to be stored. For example, what attributes of product, supplier, employee, and customer should be stored. These attributes will become fields of a table. Attributes fields can be defined as characteristics of an entity. We will store details of suppliers, employees, customers, and products. You will see here. Now supplier. You can see attributes of supplier in their description. Attribute are like supplier name, address 1, address 2, city, pin code, contact person name, email ID, and contact number. Now, logical names and physical names of attribute. When thinking about the names or attributes, it is useful to differentiate between a logical names, the attribute and the physical name used in the database application. For example, first name is the name of the fields that store values of the first name like Sonal, Meenal. First name describes a data entity we are working with. It does not matter if first name is alternatively written capital first name or small first name or first underscore name or even F name, as long as we conceptually understand that it refers to the first name. Okay. Now, following the convention methods below, the name of attribute will facilitate porting of database, designing to other database software. Base in our case. See, start all attribute name with a letter. For subsequent characters, use either letters, numbers, or underscore character. Do not use a space between words. Instead separate them with underscore. Okay, नाम लिखने के लिए आप space मत दें अगर दो words का नाम है तो. Okay, put what? The underscore in between. Do not use special characters except underscore. No asterisk, no semicolon, no inverted comma, no question mark, no ampersand, no percent sign. So no special characters. Only underscore you can use in your name writing. Use abbreviation if needed to keep the length of names short. We will use camelback notation in database designed for our sample application. This means each word in the field name starts with capital character. For example, first name F capital, N capital, last name L capital, N capital. Same way address line 1. Okay children. So here it's shown in the chapter shows field name and that would be used for our sample database of for modern electronic store. It is shown later. Now step 3. Decide what kind of data we want to enter in each attribute. Depending on it, we need to decide data type of each field while designing the table. So it is compulsory to define the data type of each field. Okay, data type is a way to define storage structure of the field. Computers have different ways of storing data. In general, they trade memory or speed of accuracy. Consumptions that require more accuracy tend to be slower and use more memory. Okay. When building table with base, we would be presented with drop-down menu of options asking us to choose the kind of attributes we want to store. The choice we make here will affect the performance of database. Here different figures will show sample records we would like to insert in the table discussed. Later we will discuss data types provided by base. We will decide which data type we should designate for attribute for our sample table. For example, data type children, if I am putting the field name date of birth or date of joining or date of leaving the company. Okay, so what is DOB or date of leaving or joining? They will be stored in data type calendar. Okay, in calendar we are having date and time kind of data type. Let's say if I have to write first name, last name or the name of the product, we are having what? Character data type. Understood children? We will see more data type about them in coming up session. Here different sample tables are there. You can see supplier, then sample records of employee, sample records of product and sample records of customer. Data types in base. Data types available in base can be divided into three categories, namely alphanumeric, calendar and binary. Alphabets, special characters as well as numbers. Thus the appropriate data type assigned to address would be one of the numeric data, alphanumeric type. We can select varchar, okay, as data type for address field. The number of bytes to be allocated to varchar data type depends on the number of characters entered by user. For example, if address of Harshit contains 100 characters, 100 bytes would be reserved. And if contains 50 characters, so 50 bytes would be reserved. You can see here children, alphanumeric data type memo, text, text and text. Memo long varchar, it takes 2 GB maximum length, store up to the maximum length of number indicated by user, it accept any UTF 8 characters bit, okay. Then we are having char 2 GB, varchar 2 GB, varchar ignore case 2 GB. Ignore case is not sensitive, case sensitive, it stores capital as you type them, it stores small as you type them. So it takes ignore case In case of alphabet, no restriction on capital or small cases. Now we go to numeric data type. This data type is used to store numerical information like marks of students, salary or employee, quantity on hand or balance in the bank account of a person or the same kind of data. We have already seen that in alphanumeric type, the number of bytes actually used is fixed by the software. This is not the case when you store value for a number. Different ways of storing numbers will require more or less bytes. Numeric data type attributes are described by the number of bytes they use and whether they are signed or unsigned. These two factors determine the range of possible values they can hold. Base offers several types of numeric data type attributes, both signed and unsigned, that use different amount of bytes. Got it, children? Here you can see the numeric data types: Boolean, tiny integer, small integer, integer, big integer, numeric, decimal, real, and their consumption of byte. Boolean 1 bit, okay. Their range is also given, children. Tiny integer 1 byte, small integer 2, integer 4, big integer 8, numeric no limit, decimal no limit, real data type 4 bytes. These are the different data types of numeric data type, children. Now calendar. Third, that is another important data type is calendar. They are used to store calendar informations like month, year, day, hour, minute, second, and fraction of a second. Date allows storing year, month, and day as it is stored in the system through which data is entered. Same is true for the time type attribute, which stores the time of the day, hour, minute, and second. Finally, some procedures might demand recording of both the time and day of an event. So, timestamp, जहाँ हमें day और time दोनों हम दे सकते हैं. That is timestamp has been designed for recording all information at once. In our example, database, the fields joining date, birth date must be assigned date data type because they are only having date. So the table here you can see, children, it's a description of calendar data type. Date, month, day, year, it stores time. So time stores hour, minute, second information. Then timestamps, date and time kind of information it stores together. Next is binary. The binary attributes allows us to store any information that comes as a long string of zeros and ones. Digitized image and sounds use this format. They are distinguished by the computer because the initial zeros and ones identify the kind of file they represent. Okay, JPG image or MP3 files or so on. However, base will make no attempt to identify the kind of file you have stored. This is to say that it won't care if the file is an MP3 or a TIFF, tagged image file format. It will happily store it. Thus, in effect, means that you could use base database to store. For examples, photos of the products or employees or sound snippets or voice messages are stored through binary type. Binary is having image, maximum length 2 GB, long var binary, then binary, var binary 2 GB, okay, binary fix 2 GB. All they have the maximum length of consumption memory is 2 GB. So children, we will be continuing in next session. See you the next session. I end up this session here. I hope you got it, understood it. Thank you. Have a good day.